This morning, a coast-to-coast air travel meltdown worsening as the FAA struggles to staff critical air traffic control facilities amid a historic government shutdown.
It's tough right now to travel.
ATC and TSA staffing issues causing long lines and increasingly raising concern about safety in the skies. Airlines forced to cancel nearly 1,500 flights and delay more than 5,000 flights Saturday alone, leaving passengers scrambling across the country.
They said they could get us to Atlanta, and then that fell through. In the meantime, I had booked a hotel in Atlanta to stay. It's not been a good day.
Staffing-related ground stops also issued at airports in Tennessee, Texas, New York, and North Carolina. Flights to San Francisco and JFK held for at least 2 hours, while passengers flying to Newark were stuck waiting at their departure airports for up to 4 hours. Flights to Atlanta delayed up to 5.5 hours. Travelers growing weary.
I ended up getting rerouted on my way to Brazil, so I flew from Dallas all the way up to Chicago with a 17-hour layover.
This weekend, airlines were operating 4% fewer flights at 40 major U.S. airports after the FAA issued a mandate Friday. The U.S. Transportation Secretary warning that the travel turmoil could get dire. Flight reductions could ramp up to 10% over the next several days if the government shutdown continues. Delta slashing 170 flights daily. United under 200, and American cutting around 220 flights per day. Our Melissa Adan in Los Angeles.
The drastic flight cuts were made to relieve pressure on the system as more TSA agents and air traffic controllers are calling out sick and working without pay due to the shutdown.
And as the stalemate in Washington shows no end in sight, passengers increasingly frustrated.
I'm angry that the governments, the president and the Congress and the Senate can't get together and just settle this thing and stop affecting regular people.
And if there is a silver lining, Gio, it is that some of these airlines are allowing passengers to cancel their tickets without penalty, meaning if your travel plans are flexible, you can postpone your trip. But of course, not everyone has that luxury, and anxiety is going up. Gio.
That's right, a silver lining, Faith, but very, very frustrating. Thank you so much. Let's keep talking about this now with former TSA Chief John Pistol joining us now. John, thank you so much for joining us. 1,000 flights canceled today, 1,000 flights canceled yesterday, 4,000 delayed on Saturday. So are the FAA flight limits a good thing?
Well, it's all a matter of context, right? So if you're a traveler, you obviously don't think so. But from a safety and security perspective, I would say yes. It's clearly inconvenient, it is disruptive, but I think it's prudent in order to provide for the best possible safety and security for the traveling public. Look, with over 2 million people traveling a day, that may seem like a lot, but this is actually the calm before the storm, as your leading stories have talked about the Thanksgiving holidays, when there's almost 3 million people traveling over that 10 to 11-day period. So it is a challenging time, and it's something that I think everybody needs to be mindful of in terms of making alternate plans if that is a possibility for them.
Well, John, let's talk about those holidays because, as you said, the holiday travel rush just a couple of weeks away. If it's this bad now, what could it be like then?
Oh, it would be much worse. Again, if you're increasing by 50%, 2 million to 3 million passengers a day, many of whom don't travel frequently, so they're the infrequent travelers who may not be as attuned to what TSA protocols and practices are, requirements. And so that's going to slow lines down, the TSA checkpoints, and then with flights canceled or delayed, as you've mentioned, it just makes for a possible chaotic time, which nobody wants. And look, this is a political thing. The TSA officers, the air traffic controllers, haven't been paid for nearly 6 weeks. And so they're in such a challenging time. The one piece of advice or recommendation I would, if I could, for travelers, if you are traveling and you get to a TSA checkpoint, if you could just say thank you to the TSOs, the Transportation Security Officers, for the job they're doing, because it is a tough job to start with. And if you're not getting paid, and many of these folks are young employees who maybe a first-time job, they have to take care of child care. They may have to take care of transportation costs themselves. Food on the table, things like that. So just an attitude of gratitude goes a long way.
Absolutely, John. I am so glad you mentioned that because, again, 6 weeks without pay, it's hard to wrap your head around that. John Pistol, former TSA chief, we so appreciate you joining us on this Sunday morning. Thank you.